Hey, everybody. Go ahead and you're welcome to unmute yourself.
What's going on, Tim?
How you doing, man? That's
Pretty,
Adrian, right?
yes, sir.
How's it going, Adrian?
Pretty good, man. Thank you.
Good. You digging into that subject to stuff?
I ordered a couple books and whatnot even today, so I'm really diving into it and see if I can soak it all in, man.
Cool. Glad to hear it. I appreciate the testimonial.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was glad to do it.
You as well.
Awesome.
Does that make you feel better?
That makes it.
Did you see the Facebook post I did of my little puppy dog in the stuffed dog that's in my office with the mask on?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on a second.
I have to go look that one up. It's right there.
Got its own little mask and everything.
Aww.
Sits in my front
That's
lobby.
hilarious. That's hilarious, man.
Got to have a little fun with it, I guess.
Yeah, no other choice.
So I've been playing around with cameras and stuff here, so didn't like where that was at. So let me try this again. Okay. So we've got like 1 minute. We'll give everyone a chance to get on here, and hopefully you brought some questions.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I'll come up with some.
Morning, Ryan.
Good morning. Well, almost
Hey, Ryan.
midday.
Hey, look at that shirt, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Thought that looked familiar.
I normally try to wear my shirt, but we have a scrimmage today, so I have to support my maroon for my son's football team.
We'll let you get away with it this time.
Football days that's very important to me.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and kick it off, and some others are welcome to join us. Hopefully, will join us. Today is the monthly Lunch Learning Connect event, which was originally set up to be a physical lunch meeting. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're not able to do that. We have started talking to the bank again to try and find out what their thoughts are with regards to when they might open the space back up. And of course, we still have to take into consideration the rules and laws and that kind of thing going on, and everybody's safety, of course. So we'll keep you posted. In the meantime, we're trying to make this event be, something close to a networking event. And so therefore, we're going to you're welcome to unmute yourself so we can chat here. And of course, we have the chat box that you're welcome to put questions in. And I know that most of you have been on the recent calls, but you're welcome to put in the chat box where you're calling in from and any kind of buyer's criteria that you have, single family, multifamily, mobile homes, land, whatever it is, and what cities or zip codes that you like to buy in. So I want, we can't meet and greet and shake hands here and physically talk about those kind of things. So I always want you to feel like you can benefit from this event by doing that using the chat. And then, of course, you can also put any kind of questions in there, but we do have so far a very small crowd today. So feel free to unmute yourself and just be courteous to everyone else on the call, and we can answer questions, ask questions, and that kind of thing. I do want to welcome the sponsors on the call. So Ryan, let's start off with you and just introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, and anything you have to offer. And if there's any questions for Ryan when he's done, let's go ahead and ask him.
Sure. So who I am, I'm an investor just like you guys probably. I've been flipping since 2009. I right now have an Airbnb in kind of right by the Dickies Arena out in Fort Worth. And then I have some rental units in Dallas at Icon, and it's kind of just about me. But more about the company I work with, Longhorn Investments. We're a hard money lender. It's the hard money lender I've used for the last few years, for the last 4 or 5 years. And then I've had the privilege of working with them for the last 2 years, and obviously the privilege of supporting Tim's group for the last 2 years as well. Basically what we do is we just offer some pretty decent financing. I have a closing today where the person's bringing $4,300 to close. There's no earnest money that he put down, so that's not being taken against it. It's just he's bringing $4,300, sorry, cash to close on a deal that has an ARV of $160,000. So if you guys are ever in need of money, feel free to reach out to me. My whole thing, and like Tim always says, you got to go with people you trust. We're not here to get you into a loan that you don't need to be in. We're going to shoot you straight. And if our loans work for you, I'll tell you that. And if they don't, I'll tell you that as well.
Thank you, sir. And your best contact information, Ryan?
I'll drop that in the chat. So if you guys want to see the chat, I'm going to put all my contact info in the chat.
Absolutely. Best place to put it. Okay. I don't think we have any other sponsors on the call, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up to anyone that has got a question for us. Naturally, I can always throw in some stuff, but I want to make sure I'm answering your questions on these calls like this.
Real quick, can I say something? If the name on your screen down here in the bottom left corner, if it isn't the name that you registered with on the site, please shoot me a little message and tell me, hey, this is who I registered under the name.
Some people use abbreviations and stuff. We're just trying to make sure we know who's on the call, and it's for your benefit as well. So when we're networking, people know who you are and so forth. So, and honestly, it'd be preferable if you would go in and edit your profile and put an image of you so that, people will recognize you when we start going back to the formal meet and greet, physical meetings again. So don't be bashful, fill out your profile so people can know who you are. All right, welcome there, Mr. Porter. Good to see you again. So, who's got a question? Don't be bashful now. So I know most of you were on the call on Saturday in this Subject 2 workshop. I hope you're benefiting from that and learning a lot and studying that material and not just letting it sit in your inbox. It's a great strategy. You can help a lot of people make a lot of money, but it doesn't do any good if you don't implement it. So be sure you implement all those things that we spoke about on Saturday and put it to work for you. So welcome, Thurl. Did I say that right?
I have a question.
Okay.
I recently received my first lead. I think you already know about that, Tim. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, you're kind of off in a distance.
And so say that again.
It sounds like you're kind of off in a distance away from the mic, but I can hear you.
Okay. And so with this particular lead, The lady is an older woman, and she's 81, and she wants to stay in her house. She does not want to leave, which at that age, she's been there. That's her first home, and that's her only home all of her life. And so I am wanting to do it subject to. However, she doesn't want to leave. And I know that that's one of the big no-nos that we discussed in a meeting, for subject to. So, but I also know that each scenario is different, and I'm not sure how that would play out as far as subject to. And there's a lot of equity in the house.
So, I don't want to, we could talk for quite a while on this particular lead, but let me see if I can answer the question here. So here's the thing. So what Kamithia is talking about is when we did the subject to workshop, and we talked about a lot of stuff. It was an all-day, 8-hour workshop. We went into a lot of great detail, and not only do I teach what to do, but I teach things that what not to do. Okay. And one of those things that I spoke about was it's not a smart idea to put, to go do a subject to deal, somebody that's in default in particularly, and then let them stay in the house. Now, it can set yourself up for, perception, and what perception means. If it looks and smells fishy, you could end up in court, and even if you win the court, what's happened in the meantime? You've got legal fees, you've got stress, you've got lost sleep, and who knows what else. But in the end, you may still win, but was it really worth it to get to that point? Okay. The other thing is, think about it like this. And I'm not telling you no on this, Kamithia, or any other deal like this, but I'm telling you, you got to think about this. So in this particular scenario, there is some equity in the house, and her payment is only somewhere around $360 a month. But yet she can't make the payment. Okay? So your thought of wanting to help her and leave her in the house, how do you think you can leave her in the house if she can't even make a $360 a month payment?
Yeah.
You certainly want to charge more rent than that. If you were going to leave her in there and let her rent from you, but how do you do that and make any money? I mean, if this ARV is correct, and I haven't really looked at the numbers yet, but if it's correct, then 93,000 is a real number, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, you ought to be somewhere in the $800 to $900 a month rent range, but she can't make a $360 payment. She's in arrears, go into foreclosure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
it does perfect sense.
Sometimes it's really hard to not get attached personally. I understand that, you're trying to help her, and that's what we're here to do, right? But you have to have a serious heart-to-heart talk with her and find out, why is she in default? Why did she get to the point she is and not paying her mortgage? How much is in arrears?
She has not paid her mortgage since 2012 because she's been in some type of court case where she says that she did not sign up for the mortgage on the house. So she says she refuses to pay because it's not her mortgage, but they're about to foreclose on her house.
So in Texas, it doesn't matter. It's under her husband's name, right? The mortgage?
Oh.
Right?
I looked on TAD, and her name is on the Tarrant Appraisal District.
That's the ownership. That's not the same as the mortgage.
Oh.
So was she here? So here's a question for you. Was she married to her husband? Is the mortgage in her husband's name?
Well, she told me back in I think it was 98, maybe sooner, that she and her husband divorced, and she went to a title company to get his name removed from the title in her name, her name only. And then she asked them to increase her mortgage, which they bought the house for $6,000 some dollars, but now I don't know what happened. I guess he took out a second mortgage on it or something.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
unanswered questions in order to try and help her, but they typically are not going to remove the husband's name. That loan stays in that person's name. Ownership can change. You can change the name on the deed, but the mortgage, if it went out in her name or his name, it stays on there. They won't change it.
Yeah, I think she may be confused about that, or maybe she may be hiding information from me too. She probably knows about it.
That could
But
very well be.
yeah.
So that's why you've got to go, ask these pointed questions. Ask to see the mortgage statement so you see whose name is really on it. It's hard to believe that they've drug it out 8 years, but you know what? Look at the consequences of what she's tried to do.
Yeah.
And she is going to lose the home she has lived in all these years if she don't start thinking differently. And again, going back to my comment about the $360 a month payment, how do you expect her to pay you rent if she won't even pay that $360 a month payment?
So at the end of the conversation I had with her, I told her, I said, I understand why you want to stay in your home, but if you're going to do business with me, you cannot stay in the house. So I would recommend you have me as a plan B, because I can't allow you to stay in the house. And I said, and I strongly suggest to you, if you get to the point where they're gonna sell the house from underneath you, you're gonna have to move anyway. Why not make money from the move?
You need to, yeah. I would also suggest you go find out if there is a second mortgage and get a copy of that mortgage statement so you see the real numbers. The fact that it's behind since 2012, you need to see the letter from the attorney's office that says how much it's going to take to pay that house off and prevent foreclosure. You need to see that letter. But anyhow, so hopefully that gives you enough to go on. We can talk again later on it, but
Okay.
I don't want to take up the whole call for that, but hopefully that was enough to get you moving forward, and hopefully it was helpful to the others on the call as well.
Yeah.
So who else has got a question?
Well, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Daryl, and I was actually referred to the group by Kamithia. I was texting her a few. You're the one that left the note on my door. But, yeah, I signed up. For good networking possibilities and guidance on this. I've never been in real estate, so this is one foot into it, and I feel like this group will be a good help. I've looked at you guys online, and it seems like a good solid group. I mean, it's full of all types of knowledge. I mean, there's brokers, there's investors, there's everything. It's a lot of resources here, so I feel like it would be good in my journey.
Well, welcome to the group, Daryl. I think you may have missed my opening comment. You're welcome to put your buying criteria in the chat, what you're buying, what you're looking for, what cities and zip codes that you buy in. And then that way that will be shared with everybody on the call so they know what you're looking for.
Okay.
So, welcome to the group.
Thanks.
Who else? Nobody else? Mr. Porter, I saw you in there somewhere. You got any questions? So feel free to chime in with any other questions you have. In the meantime, I want to tell you a couple things happening with the group then. We've been working hard at getting some new content up for you on the calendar. Next week, I'm doing my Real Flow overview on Thursday, so be sure to go get signed up for that event. I'm going to give you an inside look at what Real Flow is and how it can help you systemize your business. I've been on the tool for 10 years, so that should tell you something about what I think of it. But go register for that. Also, I'm working on, it'll be announced later on this afternoon when we hang up on this call. I just got to fine tune it and review it one more time, but I'm going to do an event that has been in the back of my mind for a long time on the 5th of September. It's going to be how to survive your first 12 months as a new real estate investor. And I'm going to go through, I've been in the business 20 years this year, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to just kind of address some of my thoughts and recommendations on what I would do if I was to start all over again, just things I've learned that I recommend you go do to put these pieces in place to help you get through that first year, because there's a lot of people that come into the business and don't stay long. And they don't stay long because it wasn't because they weren't interested, but it's because they didn't think it through carefully and have a plan on getting set up and what to do first and where to focus and what tools to use and things like that. So I'm going to give you my perspective on what I think you should do for the next 12 months to help you get your business off the ground and get it rolling. So watch for that, get registered right away, invite all your friends, any partners, any new investors, any seasoned investors, but share it with everybody. And let's get as many people on here as we can, because what's going to happen, I think, is with this particular topic, we're going to get some feedback from other investors. At least I hope so. I'm going to ask for other ideas from the seasoned investors on that call so that we can provide some guidance to all the new folks. And maybe even the seasoned people may come out with some ideas as well. I'm always learning new things. But I want to try and make this something that's helpful to everybody to get through that first critical 12 months, because there's so many people that come in and get out because they didn't do it right. So does that make sense? Everybody like that idea? Does that sound like a good topic? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Frank. So I think we're going to have a full house on that event, and that, like I said, that should be announced this afternoon, probably right after lunch, unless I get interrupted somehow. But that should be a good one. So, also, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to share something with you. We also now have the market data is now up on the website for those of you that have not been up there. By the way, if you have not activated, for the members, the paid members, if you have not activated your free website that's included with your membership, please do. If you need help with it, let me know. You can also go here to the YouTube channel. There's a video on there on how to help you activate that site and get it set up. You don't need to be a technology guru or website guru. It's really simple to walk through the setup and the way they've got it set up for you. It's so simple. So be sure you go do that, because I'm looking at the list of members, and there's quite a few people that do not have their free website set up. So please go do that. But what I was going to show you is we now have, for the members, come into the dashboard, and we now have market data set up in here for Tarrant County. So one of our members is a realtor, and she's committed to updating this monthly, and you'll be able to go in and see trends and stuff in here as to what's going on in the local area. Okay. The other thing that we're working on is under the resources page in the product list. We now have several different things in here available for purchase, but I wanted to show you that the subject to event is in here. So if somebody missed the workshop, you're welcome to come in here and buy that subject to package. It has all the stuff in it that that we provided to all those that did attend, and you can download all that stuff there if you did not attend the workshop. So that's available for purchase. Is there any questions from anyone about membership benefits, how to find something on the group webpage? I did just add the LinkedIn page now, so if you would go follow us on our LinkedIn business page if you're not already in here. So we now have a group page there. You guys are killing me here. You're supposed to come to these things with some ideas and questions and things you want to talk about. It's meant for networking and help answering questions and so forth. So somebody saying something? I can vaguely hear somebody. I don't know if that's just in the background, but no questions on anything at all?
I have a quick question if I could, Tim.
Okay.
As far as bandit signs go, do you know if there's any cities that are worse as far as any repercussions for them or not, or where to stay away from with them, or are they relatively safe to just get out there?
Well, I can't really give you a good answer to that, Adrian. There's a lot of the cities have gotten pretty tough on bandit signs.
Okay.
However, the one thing that you're usually pretty safe with is if you go put them out on a Friday night and take them down Sunday night, before Monday morning.
Okay, cool.
Typically, that is pretty safe.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Now, when you get out into the country area, like get in the country in Weatherford and Granbury and stuff, you usually don't have much of a problem there with code violations, code compliance. So you can probably get away with it. And of course, anytime you get a house under contract,
right,
put a sign in the yard. Put a
right.
sign in the window. That way nobody can come take the sign.
Right.
Put the sign inside your front window or something.
Very cool.
But yeah, I haven't done bandit signs in a long time, partially because of that reason.
Okay, cool.
Who's next?
Tim, this is Kamithia. I have a question.
Okay.
I need some clarification with subject to deals. Is it possible to get a subject to deal get a deal on owner finance?
I mean, are you asking if you can do subject to on a house that has an owner finance note? I mean, I don't quite understand what you're saying.
So I had a wholesaler tell me, because I told him, I said, I'm just looking for homes that I can obtain through subject to, the subject to strategy. And he understood what that was. And then he came back and offered me, he says, I have one that's owner finance. And I really didn't know why he offered that to me. So I felt like maybe there's something I don't know.
So, without asking any questions, here's what I think he's saying. I think he's saying that he has something under contract or he owns it that he is willing to sell to you with owner financing. So you're not taking over any mortgage like the subject to process is. So let's just clarify subject to for a second for the new folks on the call. Subject to means that there is a mortgage with a mortgage company like a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whether it's a little mortgage company, big mortgage company, something like that. There's a mortgage and a lien on that house. It could be one mortgage, it could be two, but that's what it means when you use that that phrase, buying houses subject to the underlying mortgage. Owner finance is just that. It's different. You're not taking over the mortgage in that scenario. It's where somebody may own it free and clear, or that's like me coming to you and saying, I have this house that I own, and either I bought it with owner financing and I'm willing to sell it with owner financing, or I paid cash for it, or there's no note at all on it, but I'm willing to sell it to you for $100,000 on owner finance, meaning you will pay me directly. I'll be the bank, and it's going to be at 7-8%, and whatever the terms are that we agreed to. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is we agreed to. So that's what owner financing is. And that's what it sounds like he was saying to you. And that's the difference between the subject to and the owner finance. Does that help?
Yes. So there's no way to do that, like turn that into a subject to deal at all.
Well, there's no mortgage, it sounds like.
Oh, so yeah, okay. I thought I was confused, but I wasn't sure why I was confused. I thought maybe it was just something I just didn't know. Of course, there's lots of stuff I don't know, so I was like, okay.
So, what you might want to do is, if you don't have the details of that deal, you might still go back and do the analysis on it and confirm what it is he was really saying.
Okay.
Was he saying he was willing to sell that deal to you on owner finance? And of course, if there is a deal there, you still got to do the analysis. Is there any equity in it? What's the repairs? What's the ARV? And could you buy it with owner finance and then sell it to somebody else on an owner finance wraparound mortgage? But the one thing you have to do in that scenario is you have to make sure he's okay with you selling it on a wrap. And that's the reason I was asking about, does he have an owner finance note or something on it? Because what'll happen is he may not allow. See, a bank, even though they don't want you to do a subject to on it, don't want you to take it over, as long as you pay the payments and keep it insured, they'll be happy. Okay, I mean, they want the money. An owner finance deal by a private investor, he may not allow you to sell that way, and he may call the note due.
Oh.
So trying to buy something owner finance, unless it's a private individual, you can structure your note as long as they agree with it. You can structure your note with the seller, a private seller, and be able to turn around and sell that. And I've done that several times. So that's another way of doing it. If you can buy it with owner finance from a private seller and then turn around and sell it on a wrap mortgage, then you get paid, with down payment, you get paid with monthly payment, and you get paid on the other end with when they refinance. So little different strategy. It's still part of the creative financing world, but you have to be careful on which avenue you're trying to go there. Don't mix the two types of deals up.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next?
I have just one thing, I guess not a question, but since I am just starting out with everything. So I've gotten to the point where I actually have a list, and I'm trying to decide on whether if I should do a cold call or if I should do a text campaign, because I can do either one at the point where I'm at. But I don't know which one will be more effective. Huh?
What kind of list is it?
It's a skip trace list. So I have a what's the software? PropStream. So I was able to pull it from PropStream, and then I did the batch leads, and then I'd use Skip Vault to skip trace my numbers. So I have a list of, it's the beginner's list. It's about 50 people on the list, and I have everything set up to the point where all I have to do is just hit text to start my text campaign. And then I started researching more stuff just to see, like, if I get any questions that I don't know, I don't want to seem like I don't know. So I took a second to do a little bit more research, and I actually started learning about subject to in that. So I'm glad I held off on it for a while. But I just wanted to see if what you guys experience, like what's the most effective rate for cold calling versus a text campaign?
So there's a couple things we need to understand. First off, who is on the list? What kind of seller is on that list? Did you get a pre-foreclosure list? Did you get an absentee owner? Did you get just a plain zip code list? What criteria did you use to create those 50 names?
So my list is free and clear with vacant properties, and all the owners are out of town.
Okay. So free and clear, vacant, is it out of state owners or just out of town?
It's out of state owners.
Okay. So with free and clear, you have so many different more avenues to go, because if you have a truly motivated seller, you have so many different options for negotiating a deal with them if they're truly motivated, because you can create all kinds of different offers that way. What you don't have, though, is you don't have subject to opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just said they're free and clear.
Yeah, they're free and clear.
So you have a very good list as far as potential deals. It being an out-of-state owner and free and clear, you should be able to, put together several different offers for them, whether it's all cash or owner finance, and honestly, it's not something I can teach you in this few-minute call today, but you can offer more than what the house is worth with owner finance many times, as long as you structure the offer the way that you need to, so it's to your benefit with the terms. You get creative terms, no interest, no payments, all kinds of crazy stuff like that, in order to get them excited. Sometimes people want what they want, right? And they go on Zillow and they see, the house is worth $150,000 because Zillow says so. But you see it and you find out what kind of repairs it needs. Many times it might be worth $75,000 or $80,000. So you can offer the 150 on it, but you have to have a set of terms that allow you to be able to pay that extra. And you can do that with no interest, no payments kind of thing for certain periods of time and stuff. So it's a pretty cool strategy, but like I said, it's not something that we can get into today and really talk about how to do that. So back to your question though, Farrell, is that, you can, I'm not a text service person. I've heard mixed results on people getting those services and getting results from it. The one thing I do know though is you can get in trouble with texting people that don't opt in and approve you texting them. So you do have to be careful with that. Because I don't do it, I don't know enough to tell you the rules and how do you go about solve that. But there are services out there and you just have to be careful with it. Cold calling, if you're comfortable, cold calling is a great way to do business. Did you also get email addresses?
No, the list didn't provide me with, actually, no. It provided me with a few email addresses when I looked at the spreadsheet. So
we use a service here in DFW with Real Estate IQ that, provides a premium service that has skip trace data in it, emails and phone numbers. So if you had the emails, you can also put them into an email campaign.
Yeah.
We use, you heard me mention RealFlow earlier. The RealFlow sites have autoresponders built into them, so you can put those people into the email autoresponder system and be able to let the system work for you 24/7, because it sends out an email notice to them every whatever schedule you have, 3, 5, 7 days, and it tells them who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. And so the system is doing it automatically for you as well. So you can go do door knocking with those folks and, that list that you have. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. And quite honestly, I'm a believer in diversifying and doing multiple things.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Cold calling, direct mail, the websites. If you choose to do text, just be careful. But so if you're doing multiple things, think about it like this. Not everybody's comfortable with text or does text, right? So if you only did text, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to respond.
Yeah.
If you, some people don't read email. It's hard to believe, but there are people that do not read email, especially a lot of the seniors. So you just have to try and figure out what you're comfortable with and implement those things and see what works.
Okay.
Hi, Suzanne.
Sam, I miss you. Long time no see.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, thanks for joining us.
Well, and this is the reason why I logged in, because I have a tricky one.
Okay.
Probate, 6 heirs. The probate case started in 2018 and doesn't have a hearing scheduled. So we do not obviously have a will, and we do not have obviously a letter of administration. We tried a ghost contract to stop or postpone the foreclosure. And because there's over $160,000 of equity in this property, the smaller bank is not budging. So I am looking for a TRO, but I'm seeking your experienced advice on other stall tactics to get the foreclosure postponed, if not stopped, in order to get this deal done.
Are the heirs cooperative?
Absolutely. All 6. I've got them already signed off on everything that I can think to get them signed off on, from a third-party authorization all the way to the actual contract. However, the bank isn't. Even the probate lawyer is cooperative.
So is the probate attorney, has he tried speaking to the bank and try to, I mean, you would think that the attorney could be able to communicate with the attorney for the foreclosure, and have a conversation there. Is the thing that's causing it to go to foreclosure the holdup in the the probate?
No, the foreclosure is due to non-payment on the remaining
Right.
mortgage, and the bank is not communicating with the heirs because there is not a will or a third party on behalf of the heirs. Your comment regarding the lawyer is spot on. Unfortunately, the probate lawyer did not take initiative to speak to the foreclosure trustee. However, I did give him the information and empowerment to do so. And so hopefully there will be something to do that. However, the lawyer, to be frank, or to be candid, he wants to be paid more money in order to do the TRO before he tries to negotiate on behalf of the heirs.
So clarify for me, TRO?
Oh, my bad. Temporary restraining order.
Okay. And have you discussed bankruptcy?
Yes, and that's, I wanted you to help me with that, because historically I've advised the heirs that it's challenging to file bankruptcy on behalf of your father's estate. And I've been told by a couple lawyers that that's not an option because that entity or that owner is, deceased, and therefore he can't file bankruptcy. There is a lot of equity in the home.
Okay.
And they want to, yeah. So I also get concerned because if it goes into bankruptcy and they still want to sell it, then now I have to compete in order to be the buyer, where I'm already the buyer right now.
That was going to be my other comment is, what about just going to the sale and buying it?
Yeah, I'm accustomed to working in competitive environments, but ultimately, I like to be direct with the sellers.
Sure.
Yeah, and get a better deal.
Unfortunately, though, you have a circumstance that, that's preventing you from doing that.
Yeah.
that's a difficult one. I've not come across this scenario before. Has there been some serious heart-to-heart conversation with the heirs and the attorney about what the attorney wants to get paid?
Yes, and so that also created a level of enlightenment when we heard the probate attorney wanted 2,500 when they're getting temporary restraining order solicitations as low as 250. I explained to the heirs, particularly my leader heir, point of contact, the one who's taking the lead, that you could do it yourself. A temporary restraining order doesn't have to be done with a lawyer. It's just safer with a lawyer, and you have plenty of reasons to get that approved. However, your lawyer wants 2,500, and so that's where we are right now, is trying to get the temporary restraining order filled out or filed. But I was just wondering if you have any other tricks to the trade to get the particular trustee, substitute trustee, in order to, postpone.
I'm still thinking about that. I haven't come up with that idea yet. So
Okay.
a couple more questions. How much is in arrears?
Not much. I mean, all that being said, we have a mortgage statement. We don't have a reinstatement quote. And so the heirs even have the means to reinstate by way of withdrawal from a 401k. It's approximately $12,000.
So, if there's really this much equity, and what is it already scheduled for the auction?
September 1st.
Okay. So if there's that much equity in that deal, somebody's got to make a decision. Do you want to let it go and lose every penny, or go do what you don't want to do? Take the money, you got 6 heirs, split it up however you got to, and go bring the thing current and stop the foreclosure. I mean, if the attorney's not going to be cooperative in getting it done, then you may just, and you already said that there's a lot of equity in the house. So, do you have to renegotiate the deal with those heirs on your behalf because they are going to put money in the deal? Then renegotiate if you have to. But if there's really that much equity in the house, why not go have them bring it current and stop it so that it gives you time to get the probate done? Why is the probate taking 2 years?
The bottom line, Tim, is both they and I, the heirs and I, are hesitant to reinstate without a firm reinstatement quote, or even pay off. Like we're both in position, ready, willing, and able to pay off, but we cannot get to that payoff quote or reinstatement quote because the bank will not provide it to anybody who's not authorized. And the only, because we haven't even gotten to,
Because
so that's the hurdle. Right. Otherwise I would have just, I don't want to put out my $12,000-$13,000 on a mortgage statement as opposed to a reinstatement quote. So
no, I agree with that. The other option is that you should be able to do is you should be able to go in and pay extra. I mean, go in and pay $15,000.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Well,
I mean,
is it risky? Yes, but I mean, the other option is. So I'm trying to think about how you can stop the foreclosure, right? You have this problem. You have nobody authorized to speak to the bank.
Right.
So have you considered or tried to call the bank and speak to a manager and explain the circumstance and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, the loss mitigation department, I do have a single point of contact, and he's being cordial and reasonable, but he's sticking to his guns. And I think it's a smaller bank, smaller substitute trustee organization. It's not like I could go to the Addison office and just, sweet talk them. So they're California, they're looking for the real estate, and I definitely have tried that one. I'll continue to try, you know, but I just can't take that kind of risk by overpaying in
Yeah.
hopes that it's, I mean, I need to work from a quote. And I told the family, I said, hey, if you have the means and you're willing to take that risk, by all means do, but keep in mind, you really want to work from a reinstatement quote or a payoff quote.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing you might prepare them for, though, is you mentioned they had 401k money. You might want to have them go start that um, withdrawal process, because that may take you. I mean, it's already the middle of August, so it may take some time to get that withdrawn from that 401k in order to go pay that. So
Yeah,
that's
we
another.
only need 2 more business days. There is an escalated process due to the CARES Act now.
Okay.
So thank God, you know, we just need the number. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you think, I don't want to take everybody's time, but if you think of anything else, shoot me. I'll shoot you an email so you can reply to me. But this one is a big hurdle, and I just don't want to put the risk without the quote.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, that's a very high risk to do it without. So one more comment. Back to the attorney for a second. Have you by chance tried to get the attorney to talk to the manager in loss mitigation?
I did make the introduction, and sad to say, the probate attorney did not even have that contact information through all this time, right? However, he has it now. And since I'm not his client, I've encouraged his client to, you know, encourage him to play nice and introduce. And that's where we left it off. So maybe he will, maybe he won't.
If it goes to foreclosure, the attorney's not going to get paid, right?
Right, right. I mean, he has a skin in the game. You know, and the fact that he asked for $2,500 to file a temporary restraining order, I just kind of thought, dude, you've been working this file since 2018, and you're going to let it go like this. So
let's go back to that topic again. Why has it taken 2 years for probate? Why?
I'm not getting good answers. The answers that I'm getting are short-term related. You know, the answers I'm getting, one is that they had a misspelling of the deceased name and therefore they could not assign it ad litem. 2, COVID, which is obviously 2020, not 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
3, there apparently was an initial dispute between the heirs back in 2018. And then 4, one of the heirs had passed away, and therefore now we're dealing with that child's children. And there is a paternity situation. So add that all together, that's why we're still in process from 2018.
Yep. So, you know, just for everybody on the call, just for your knowledge, you know, you can see from this conversation, and thanks for bringing this up, Suzanne, because, you know, there's difficult situations out there. And, you know, been in the business 20 years this year, and I've not run across this scenario. Just look at my hair. You can see that, you know, there's new things every day. There is so many different things that could happen, do happen. And there's some scenarios that are just next to impossible to pull off and make work. Kind of going back to the scenario earlier with Camethea, that's a difficult scenario to try and help. But I also think she's not being totally honest with you, Camethea, and giving you all the information, or maybe you just didn't ask the right questions. But, you know, this is where pre-screening people come in really important in detail. And sometimes you got to ask the same question 4 different ways and see if the answers are all the same, because many times they're not. The other thing that I would say in your case, Suzanne, is that you might want to have a heart-to-heart with your heirs and say, okay, if we can't get the payoff to stop the foreclosure, to be able to go in and pay it off and bring it current or pay it off completely. If we can't do that, okay, the probate attorney is committing highway robbery, yes. But at some point, do we just say, is it worth it to pay the $2,500 and pay the attorney to get it done? I mean, if that is a sure way to stop the loss of all that equity on that house by losing it to foreclosure, you might want to make the unhappy decision to just go pay the attorney and not worry about it anymore. And just, you can always, give him recommendations afterwards to the public, right? As to what the guy did. But at the point right now that you're at, you don't have many options. And that sounds like one of the few that have a chance. And if he gets that temporary restraining order, is that guaranteed to stop this foreclosure? I mean, there's risk versus reward in everything we do in this business. And this is one of these things you've got to discuss and make some decisions. They don't always work out the way we want, but that family needs to decide, is it worth splitting that $2,500 cost 6 ways with the attempt to prevent the foreclosure? Does that make sense, Suzanne?
Yes, yes. That heart-to-heart happened this morning, and they're going to file a temporary restraining order somehow, somewhere, some way, and we'll push this further down the road. And sometimes it takes time to work the file, and that's, I think, what we're going to do.
And the only worry I have would be that with them doing it to try and save the money is, do they do it right the first time around, or is it wrong and they have to resubmit and they lose valuable time?
Yeah. So I've contemplated doing it myself or getting one of a partner to file one. I actually would like a recommendation on who you recommend for filing temporary restraining orders. The one I've worked with is too busy. So that will give me the next step, please.
So again, I've not done this. This scenario is one I've not been through. But I would suggest reaching out to Martin Garcia with Simplified Title, our sponsor in our group. He is a real estate attorney. I know he does probate things. And if he can't do the temporary restraining order, which I think he can, but if he can't, he certainly can tell you who he would recommend.
I just sent you information. There's 2 court cases. It's called dependent administrations. You can stop that foreclosure, and the 2 court cases are in the chat.
Okay, thanks, James.
There's 2 court cases on it. One's Pierce versus Stroke, and there's another one in there as well. But if you send that to the lawyer, it's going to require a lawyer to probably get this done. I don't know what a dependent administration is, but that will probably help and go from there.
All right, James.
It's illegal.
Thanks, sir. All right. Who's got another question? So we've been on the call coming up on an hour now. And that good conversation, by the way. Thanks for that, Suzanne. And Kamithia, you had a good topic to talk about with everybody. So who's got the next question? That's what these calls are for. This Lunch and Learn was originally, for those of you that missed the beginning of the call, these were originally a physical lunch meeting. And of course, COVID changed that. So we're trying to still continue the conversation, the networking, the Q&A. We don't come to these meetings with a specific topic like we do our main monthly meeting. These are open conversations and trying answering questions, and what we've been talking about is good for everybody to hear. I know some of you are, being new, it's probably right over your head, right? but it's good conversation to have. And by the way, this will be uploaded onto the group calendar. For those of you that are new, just so you know, if you come up here to the calendar, whatever day the event is, and here's today, the audio, and if there's video, in this case, it'll probably just be the audio for these weekday meetings, but it'll all appear down at the bottom of this calendar event. So just be sure you come in here, give us a couple days. It usually takes us a little time to get it processed. And then on the main monthly meetings, all that information is at the bottom. Plus it has video and audio and documents. So like this month on the 1st of August, when we did Connor's YouTube video marketing stuff, you see down there at the bottom, we have the presentations, we have the video, and we have the audio. And again, that's on the bottom of the calendar event. So keep that in mind for those of you that were not aware of that. So we try and provide you all this information as members. You have 24/7 login access to all the past 6 months worth of content and training and stuff, and as well as a bunch of forums and that kind of stuff. So it's well worth it. If you're not a member today, we'd love to have you join. You can come up right here to the membership info and join, and just follow the prompts, and you can get signed up that way. So what other questions do we have? Hi, Linda. Welcome to the call.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I had a question on the real flow. Yeah. If I have lead data that I'm trying to track in like my deal machine, driving for dollars app, and things like I'm about to sign up for Data Zap because I need large volume leads.
What do you consider
Can that information? I'm sorry, go ahead.
What do you consider large volume?
I'm still being coached through the school I went through for wholesaling training.
Okay.
And he has suggested that I do 400 to 500 calls a day, and I'm sending leads to message communications. It's kind of like ringless voicemail for calls, and whatever they can't get leads to call through, I cold call myself.
Okay.
And I was just wondering if the data I track from that can be transferred over to RealFlow. So I have one CRM base to keep up with my tracking.
Okay. So can you export the list into a CSV file?
Yes.
So you can import any list that's in a CSV file into RealFlow.
Okay.
You just have a certain format that it has to be done in. So
Okay.
you would want to look at, what it is you have that you're trying to import and whether or not it will fit into the RealFlow template. So it depends on what kind of data you have, but if it does have to be a CSV file.
Okay. Yeah, we can do CSV.
Hey, Linda, quick heads up. I've been doing that type of campaign for several months, and what I encourage you to be aware of is although RealFlow can handle as many as you put in, it can get overwhelming if you don't properly move your leads through your pipeline. So even though you're doing that big data dump, it's a good thing, but please, get in touch with Tim or someone to make sure that you're not just dumping it in and then losing it in the mass amount of data. There is, what I use is the Scrum board, and it will help you move it through, because I got to the point now, Miss Linda, and I'm not telling you what to do, but I only put the leads where I actually visit the property into my RealFlow. Because when
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
Yeah, okay. So you understand, but, and then once it's in there, I personally use the Scrum board.
So
Okay.
you're talking about statusing, correct, Suzanne? Yeah. So for those of you that are not aware of it, next Thursday, I'm going to take you inside RealFlow and show you a live overview of what that tool is all about. And I thank you for the question, Linda. I will try and address some of that during the call. RealFlow is a super powerful tool. I've been on it 10 years. That doesn't mean it's a perfect tool, so it doesn't do everything. But I can tell you from trying many other tools, it's very powerful. It's one big system, one big CRM. So it does a lot of things. Because there's so much to that tool, a lot of what you can accomplish is what you determine for workarounds and little tips and tricks. I'm going to show you a lot of my tips and tricks on how we manage leads and data. The Scrum board is a very, very helpful tool from a big picture perspective on what you have in what categories. But the other thing is you have a statusing capability on each lead that you can also pull, as long as you're statusing where they're at. Are they just a lead? Are they a prospect? Is it a deal? Have you closed it, bought it? There's different stages that they call it in RealFlow, and you can status it that way. It's just another way to manage it. You have some color coding capability to help you track color codes. As a matter of fact, if you can see that, we've created this little chart here on what we use the colors for, so that when you go into the list view, you can see just as a quick snapshot if that's a subject to deal or a cash deal or what. So there's a lot of little tips and tricks like that. And I agree 100% with Suzanne about if you just dump them in there and don't start statusing them, it's going to be overwhelming. You're going to have a very hard time finding stuff, other than there is a very good global search function in RealFlow. But I'm a visual guy. I like to see things, and it helps me stay organized if I can start statusing that stuff. The Scrum board, the stages, all that stuff's very, very helpful. So again, go get signed up on that RealFlow event. That's next Thursday. It's going to be from I guess it's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, sorry. 12 to 1:30. And this is everything that we're going to be covering and a lot more. I'm going to show you a lot of tips and tricks, things that I use it for. I love it for building a buyer's list because you can manage it in detail. Is it a rehabber? Is it a landlord? Is it commercial? Is it an owner finance? Is it a renter? You can manage them all that way. And you can also manage your buyer's list by the cities and state and the zip codes that they want to receive leads for. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. We don't have time to get into it today, but we'll go through all that on next Wednesday. Did that help, Linda?
Yes, thank you, Tim.
You bet.
And Suzanne, thank you.
So is your deal, what was it? Deal what? Deal
machine is for driving for dollars, where you drive out there and you take pics of homes that are distressed and being able to track them. Yeah.
How's it working for you?
So far, the leads I've gotten have just been to tell me to stop sending postcards. But my sister also does this, and she's had 3 fix and flips that she got off from driving for dollars. With everything that she tries, our leads came from driving for dollars.
So if you haven't figured it out, I know we have quite a few new folks on the call today. If you haven't figured it out, this is a numbers game. And you need to diversify what you're doing, because not everybody looks at postcards. Not everybody accepts phone calls, will read emails, accept text, all these different things. That's why you got to do multiple things, in my opinion. And you just have to keep doing it. Now, the good thing about the people that told you no is now you can just take them off your list,
Right.
right? So you're not
Correct.
wasting any more money. And that's what you want, right? You want an answer from your prospects. You want an answer. It's either yes, I'm ready to sell, or no, quit bugging me. I don't want to sell. I'm not moving, or I already sold it. You want an answer. At least they're communicating rather than not saying anything.
Right.
Yes, Suzanne.
I just wanted to emphasize what Tim said, but also give you a couple ninja tips. When they say no, don't forget to ask them if they have a different property that they would consider selling within the next 90 days. And
Okay.
Also, as you're driving, put out your bandit signs and leave your door hangers. I have had some success in vacant properties of actually putting the bandit sign in the actual yard. Yes, they yelled at me, but you know, if I don't get yelled at least once a day, I'm not doing my job. So just like he's saying, diversify. Those are the specific diversification driving for dollars tactics that have been successful for my team.
So,
Okay.
and thanks for that. And just to elaborate on what Suzanne just said, what's the purpose of every single marketing piece that you publish? No matter what it is, what's the purpose of it?
To get leads, to get sellers.
To make the phone ring.
Right. Right.
Okay. So from there, it's up to you on how it ends up. But in her scenario, I've been teaching that for years. You know, you go find an ugly vacant house somewhere and there's no signs there. Go put a for sale by owner sign in it, or a bandit sign for your business. But put a for sale by owner sign in it, does the same thing. It's going to have your phone number on it. And if the seller is in the area, they're going to call you, I guarantee. Okay. If they know a neighbor and the neighbor sees it, they might call the seller and say, hey, I didn't know you were selling your house. Or how come you didn't tell me you were selling your house? But what's that do? It now notifies the owner, and now the owner's going to come see and get the phone number, and he's going to call. Now, let's say in the end they say, no, I don't want to sell. What just happened in the last however many days or weeks that went by that you had your sign in the front yard, and you probably got a bunch of calls, right? Aren't you building your buyers list at that point? So you may not ever buy that house, but that sign is going to generate phone calls, and you should be collecting data from every single person that calls you about what they're looking for. They called because you had a sign that says for sale by owner or a bandit sign. But now you want to find out why they called. What are they looking for? And get them into your buyers list. Don't waste that call just because maybe that wasn't the right house for them or anything. Find out what they're looking for and add them to your buyers list.
Okay.
Does that make
Good
sense,
tips.
everybody? Right? I mean, you may have a upset owner when he calls, but then you can turn that right around. So, is your house for sale, Mr. Seller? Sometimes they don't know they're a seller until you ask them.
Okay. So that's not against the law to put a bandit sign in somebody else's yard without approval?
I mean, if somebody can sue you for anything they want to, whether justified or not.
That's true.
You know, is it illegal? I doubt that there is anything that, you know, a lawyer might try and make it sound, you know what lawyers do. They might make it sound like it's illegal. Of course, if you had a no trespassing sign, you know, on the property somewhere, then maybe, yeah. But, you know, what would my answer be if somebody called me and being irate about a sign I put in their yard? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Seller. My guys must have put it in the wrong property.
There you go.
I don't put it up by the door. You know, don't, this is Texas, you know.
Yeah.
Don't go up to the door, put it close to the sidewalk, And just like Tim had said, oh, sorry. And my other response was, it was the quickest way for you to call me. I was concerned about your property getting dilapidated. Have you seen it lately? So you're trying to help them from getting more vandalism, right? So, so just, you know, let that yelling come off of you and redirect it to something to their advantage.
Or more code violations if it's really bad. So there's a lot of different ways you can handle it like that. But, you know, the goal, again, like I said, is to get the phone to ring, and that's just another way of doing it.
Okay.
Okay, folks. So we've been on here for about an hour and 12 minutes, and thank you, Michelle. Is there any other questions before we depart the pattern here so you can get out there and go buy some houses? Nobody, huh? Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it. Very good comments once we got the conversation going here. You know, again, remember, these things are for you to come to the Lunch and Learn event. The Tim's Tuesday Tips event is a little bit different. That is a members only call. So we can bring deals into that one. I want to help you structure the offers and do the analysis. We can do that real time if we can on the call. I would ask you to be prepared for that. If you have deals, send us the property information sheet first and the comps you have so we can try to be prepared for it. But that's on the Tim Tuesday Tips. I want to try and really hunker down in those calls and not just general chit chat, but I want to really get specific if we can on deals that you have that you're working on. So really that is for members only. And then hope to see you next week on the Real Flow Live call. Any last parting comments? If not, we're going to go ahead and sign off, and you can go buy a house this afternoon.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Stay safe out there, everybody.
See you soon.